This is Celeste. I'm the marketing manager at the Sarpy County Chamber of Commerce. And so we're going to be going into our website 101, which was this specific presentation we developed to get people to use the resources that they have through our website. And the Sarpy Chamber's website is relatively new. It was first launched in 2017, this iteration of it, at least. So that's why we have this. And so now I'm going to pop into my share screen and let's go over to the presentation. Okay. So here we are. Hopefully you're all being able to see this. So yeah, a lot of people don't know, they can post news items. You could promote special deals. At the very least, you can complete your listing more so than just the basic information you give us to join. You can add descriptions, keywords, things that really help you boost your visibility. So that's what we want to help people to learn in this presentation, how they can take advantage of those things. So before we jump into tutorials, I wanted to have a quick look at the website's audience. And I don't want this to become a lecture on Google Analytics, though we've got maybe a specific kind of marketing crowd today, so maybe that might be interesting to some, but we won't go down that rabbit hole too much. But I did want to give a quick overview to give some perspective on the whys of utilizing your account. So like I said, our website is relatively new for us and our members. It was launched in 2017. And I'm excited because now we were through 2019 into this year. I now have, a couple years of information to compare. So that's been pretty exciting for me. In 2019, we had 26,268 individual users. So sessions mean that our website was utilized 39,307 times by those users, and a total of 85,444 pages were visited during those sessions. So we've got users, many of whom return, and they're viewing multiple pages when they do. So our top pages with the most traffic also help paint a picture of who is coming to the website. So the homepage is not a surprise. That's where most people land. So that's why we have it. So you only even need to just hit that one page to see events, links to news, links to hot deals. You'll see our second page is again indicative of what our website is here for, and that's events, which in 2020 is kind of pretty different right now. We're usually putting on a lot of events. I know over I think 160 each year. When you add in different groups and meetings, it's like closer to 500 or something like that. So a lot of people are going there to register for events, check info. And then sarpychamber.org/members, that's our third most popular, and that's the online directory. So looking at our traffic sources also brings some things into focus. Most of it is organic, which means those are people finding us through searches. And so a direct, that's when a URL gets typed into the address bar and users go directly to our website. The socials from social media and referrals from maybe various other news sources that link back to our website. So a larger source of organic traffic indicates a website search rankings are high. But if Google Analytics wasn't telling me this, then I would still know that based on maybe the number of calls we get from people who found us online, which that's great for our members when they're searching for things relevant to you. It helps you come up more. It makes some interesting phone calls for us. I know in the past, I've gotten calls like, I want chickens in my yard. What permits do I need to fill out to have chickens? And that's great that you found us. That's not our department, but let me get you over to the right county official to help you with that. So we get a lot of those interesting calls that let us know when people search for things within Sarpy County, within the cities of Sarpy County, our website comes up and they're talking to us. So we begin to see a picture of who is using our website, and our website's main purpose and primary concern is for user A, who is a Sarpy Chamber member or a prospective member. They use the site to look for upcoming events, register, check on chamber news and opportunities, but we don't have 26,000 something members. So there's a user B, and they're not a member, and they probably came through a Google search, and oftentimes they're looking through the directory. So like I said, we want this website to help you function as a member first and foremost, keep you up to date on the events, education opportunities, but we also want it to function so maybe user B more easily becomes a potential client, customer, or a lead for user A. So I want to focus real quick on where user B is hanging out and where you have a lot of control, and that's your directory listing. So as long as basic numbers like what we just went over are good, I'm much more interested in behavior of people coming on our website. Lots of users can be seemingly great, but if they're not using your website in a way that you want them to, it's kind of meaningless. So let's look at the behavior of people in the directory. And here we've got a couple of lovely definitions from Google Analytics for exit rate, bounce rate. For all page views to the page, exit rate is the percentage that were the last in the session. For all sessions that start with a page, bounce rate is the percentage that were the only one of the session. So if you were able to parse any meaning from that, that's great. I find to a general audience that those definitions are maybe pretty impenetrable to understanding. So breaking that down, our membership directory bounce rate is 12%. Our directory exit rate is 5%. So what that means, the 12% of people who bounced from the directory are people who came here through a search, they landed on the page, and then they said, oh, this isn't what I wanted, and they left. The 5% of people who exited the directory are people who landed on the home page, navigated through the website to the directory, and then said, oh, this isn't what I want, I'm leaving. So those low numbers mean that a huge majority of the users have come to the directory and they've gone on to browse through pages, which that's great because that's you guys. Those are your listings. So this is a screenshot I took one morning when I was pulling numbers for this presentation. And this is, you can, when you're in Google Analytics, you can go over and look at your active users. It's kind of creepy, kind of cool. But just that, you know, morning, it wasn't any particularly interesting morning, but we happen to have a good screenshot of maybe some something I want to impress upon you, which is, you know, people are looking at this website. So on that day, we had someone in South Carolina was looking through schools and dance studios. Someone in New Jersey was looking through the financial institutions, so the banks. And then someone in Austin, Texas was looking at Rotella's Bakery, their listing page. So you kind of have to think of this when your presence as a member on our website is like participating in a trade show that's open 24/7. And while a majority of people are browsing are in Nebraska, it's definitely not limited to the state. Okay, and so this has been some interesting information that we've been able to pull in the past couple of years. So in 2019, our website had more people from Ashburn, Chicago, New York City, Des Moines, than people visited from La Vista. And it's not like we had nobody from La Vista, but it's just those places, they certainly have the numbers on La Vista, but they're coming to our website in pretty significant numbers. And Minneapolis, Kansas City, and Los Angeles, they were not far behind La Vista visitors. So in 2018, it was just Chicago that was higher than people from La Vista. And then you see all those cities that moved past them in 2019. So, you know, if trends continue, I imagine, you know, Minneapolis, Kansas City, those places, they'll also go up in those rankings. And so most visitors from those cities spent 1.5 to 2 minutes on the website and viewed multiple pages. And, you know, a few minutes seems like not a long time. In internet time, that is a long time. That is a person utilizing your website. Okay, so on that, hopefully that gave you like just like a little brief overview of, hey, why it's important to, at the very least, fill out your listing or take advantage of your online marketing resources, because there are people on the website, and if they see your listing, I want you guys to make a good impression. So we're going to pop out of here and do some tours, tutorials. We're going to look at the member account dashboard. We're going to look at your directory listing and how you can make sure you've got that completed. We're going to talk about posting news releases, and that's especially relevant now. We've got a special category that we'll go into. And then we'll talk about posting hot deals and member-to-member deals. So I'm going to stop sharing out of this PowerPoint screen, and then I will go into my Chrome. Just a sec here. Okay, so hopefully we are looking at a membership account dashboard. So this is what you will see when you're logged into your membership account. And right now we are logged in as the Sarpy County Chamber of Commerce. We are using ourselves as a guinea pig for today's presentation. So I'm going to go over a quick tour of the top menu and then the left-hand menu here. So your home page, real quick, it just kind of functions as a little bit of a news aggregator, the same way that your Facebook news feed works. So, you know, if someone has posted things, notices, news, you'll see that collected here. You'll see you have upcoming events. It'll tell you, oh, look, our membership profile is only 30%, so we're bad. That's the home page. Okay, directory. This is where you can see the online directory from the back side of the account. Now you'll see here a few folks, they've got logos kind of expanded about us. As we scroll down more, you'll see it kind of just goes with just the name and kind of bare bones contact info. These are people with enhanced listings. This is just a regular listing. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that's why you see that difference. Events, this is where you can go to register for events. And registering for events kind of is a little bit different these days because a lot of it is happening over Zoom. And so that kind of, it involves, you know, being sent Zoom meeting info, Zoom password. But otherwise, it is usually you can just register here and you'll get email reminders about when those events are coming up. And if you need to, I guess, unregister, you can do that here. If you need to change info, add a person to that event, this is where you can do that. All right, resources is a tab we don't really use. So our our website software is through Chambermaster. It helps a lot of chambers of commerce have a website. I think a lot of chambers will use this as places to put maybe informational materials, like, I don't know, see like our membership, our guide. But we update info a lot on that, so we just don't utilize it because we're pretty good about distributing that, and we wouldn't want anything, you know, that can be outdated staying here. So this is why we just don't use it. So that's resources, and you probably never have to worry about it again. Reports. Now this is where you have like kind of a little mini version of Google Analytics. It certainly doesn't go as deep down the rabbit hole as Google Analytics can, but it does give you some oversight into what's happening on your listing. If you do any advertising, it gives you an idea of what's happening there. If you're posting any hot deals or job postings, it can give you an idea if people are viewing it. So this helps you maybe make some decisions on what efforts are worth it to you, what aren't, what worked, what didn't. So you can see that here in reports. News collects hot deals, member-to-member deals, any news releases, job postings. It gives you a pretty quick link over to all of those. And then once I hit settings, it's going to take us over to this menu here. So this is where you can start, you know, doing all your personal, company, all that kind of stuff. So that is the top there. I suspect most people will be utilizing events up here, maybe directory to look through, and then reports if you guys have posted anything and you want to see how that's doing. Now, for filling out your listing, and when I say a listing, what I'm talking about is here. So this is our online directory. I'm going to search for us. Let's do the Sarpy County Chamber of Commerce. All right, there we are. So this is our listing. This is what I'm talking about with filling that out. As you can see, there's a possibility to have an about us. We don't right now, which is not great. The fact that it's our website and it's all about us maybe helps that, but we should really have that filled out. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, and so where you go to do that is you, in this left-hand menu, you're going to go to company information, and then it's brought up another menu, and we're going to go to website information. Now, as you can see, it's already started automatically pulling over, you know, your name, phone number, contact info, address, all the stuff that you had to give us anyway when you joined. But what it doesn't automatically set up is if you have a Facebook page, if you have a LinkedIn, if you have a Twitter, you can certainly add those, and you for sure should, because it can, you know, just make it easier for a person to go over and visit those sources of content. So that's a thing you can do right now. If you've got a LinkedIn page, if you've got Facebook pages, if you've got a Twitter, you can add those, and they'll be right there on your listing page, making it easy for a person to go over. Now, this is primarily what I really want everyone to start filling out is the web description. It's your about us. Now, I've worked with some companies in the past on this, so you know, maybe sometimes it can be very self-explanatory in your name what you do, but sometimes it's not. So I was working with a company with, let's call it ABC Designs, and they didn't have their listing filled out, so it just said ABC Designs. Are you okay? Is that graphic design? Is that interior design? What is that? Their listing didn't have an about us, so who's to say? And that makes it, you know, very unlikely that someone's going to click over because they have no idea if you're relevant to what they're looking for. I mean, it turns out they were construction, so very important to add that about us. So let's pull some content. To do that, we'll just go to our about us real quick. That looks great. Let's just pull that. And we'll paste that here. So fantastic. So we've made a change. Let's scroll down. We hit Save Changes. Successfully saved. So now let's go over to our listing, refresh that. Oh my gosh, and now we have an about us. So, you know, if this was the page for maybe ABC Designs, now there's an about. We know what kind of designs you do, and oh hey, that's relevant to what I'm looking for. So great, visit website. Maybe that it just makes it easier, more likely for a person to click over to you. Okay. Okay, so the other, and here we have hours of operation. Now, normally a lot of people aren't utilizing this, you know, because they feel like their website's good enough to do it, or it's maybe not important enough. I know now that we're all facing some real changes to our, not only our hours of operation, but how we're operating. Maybe people might be using it more. If you have like, you know, hey, we're usually 9 to 5, but now we're these days and this, you can add that here, and that can be a note on your listing. And then driving directions, again, I don't know how important that is to people. As you can see, it populates a map already. Makes it pretty easy for a person to find you. If you find that you want to put specific directions, makes it easier for people to find you, you can do that there. The other big important thing, so filling out your listing, if you do nothing else today, but fill out your web description and then these, your keywords. I would be very happy because again, that will just do a lot to boost your visibility. So what you want to do here, this isn't anything that's going to show up on the front end of your listing, but it's going to help you be visible to people who are, you know, doing Google searches or, you know, whatever search engine searches. So what you want to put in here are what terms you think people are putting in that would lead them to you. So we're a Chamber of Commerce. Let's do business, networking, Sarpy County. We'll do some of the Vista, Bellevue. We'll do Omaha. It's always good to have your places, you know, your networking, connection, growth, business development. We do business education. We do networking groups. Go nuts here. Basically, so like I said, do your about and do your keywords. If you do nothing else, I will still be happy. So that are the big things for completing your listing. And so like I said, we've gone to company and then website information here. So that is filling out your listing. Okay, so on this menu, I'll do a real quick thing on, so if you ever need to change for, you know, your own personal contact information, you can do that here. And personal, so if you know, your email changes, your phone number changes, this is where you can change that. And then company information, as you can see, that website information is where we did our listing. Organization information, so let's say if your whole business has a new phone number or a new address, you can update that here, and once you hit save, that'll get automatically pulled over to your listing, so you don't have to worry about doing that twice. So those are what those tabs are for. But we're here to kind of focus on what are your marketing avenues. So we're going to go over to hot deals and member-to-member deals. Now the process of posting a hot deal and a member-to-member deal are you know, pretty similar. The only difference is where they show up. So since a hot deal is an offer that's available to anyone, that appears on our website's hot deals section, and it goes out to our social media. And so since member-to-member deals are exclusive to your fellow chamber members, they show up on your dashboard and feed. So let's do hot deals here. This is where you can see what's available. Right now it's on the back end, logged in as a member. Now let's on the front end of the website. So someone on the website, when they go to hot deals, they'll see that here. Okay. So that's what that section looks like. Now, adding a hot deal, you see, you'll just do that up here, hit add hot deal, and it's pretty user-friendly. There are just a couple places that it may be not apparent why it's asking you this question. So here to explain that for you. Now, it asks for a title and a tagline. I'm here to tell you the title is the most important. This is if you've got 50% off X product, you want that spelled out clearly here in your title, because your title is what gets pulled over to the directory as well. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's go to the membership directory. So who I think I saw Courtyard Marriott had a hot deal. So maybe if I'm looking through like facility rental. So I'm looking through all the places that are available. You know, I have an event. I need to rent space for it. I guess this is taking place in an alternate universe because we can't do that right now, but let's say I can have an event and I need a place to do it. I'm looking through my options here and I see Courtyard by Marriott, they have a hot deal going. And so that helps them stand out in the listing. You see they've got the little hot deal icon, and this is where it has pulled their title over here. So if I click on that, it brings you over to the hot deal itself. So that's why it's important that your title is, you know, the most attention grabbing. It spells it out very clearly, because that can help someone get you over to your page. Your tagline, as you'll see, that's here on the hot deal page. So not as important, but you know, it can be just like another little bit of enticing information to get them to click. Okay. Now category, you're going to select from what you are. So most of our members, they fall into one category. If you fall into more than one, you want to pick the one that is most relevant to what you're offering. So I talk about, in this example, maybe say a place like Nothing Bundt Cakes. I know they're a bakery, they're in our bakery category, but they're also, I believe, in like gifts, like special gifts. So if they're doing maybe an Easter special or a Mother's Day or something, hey, you know, 10% off your cake or something. Let's see if that's a gift. Let's say it's Mother's Day. We're doing Mother's Day gifts. Get a cake. They would want to pick gifts, maybe not bakery, because someone's going to be probably more likely searching for gift ideas. So that's maybe going to be more of a hit for what people are looking for. Now, details description, this is where you can put in whatever you want, whatever your stipulations are, however you want to direct people to, you know, take advantage of this. If there's a certain link, if they just need to call, if they want to email, it's pretty open-ended how you want to do this. So that's what you do there. And you're pretty unlimited in what you can put in there. You know, I recommend keeping it brief. Nobody wants to do a lot of homework. So, you know, keep it brief, keep it pretty clear, and you'll be good. Now, meta description, this is going to be kind of like your keywords. Again, this isn't anything that shows up on the front end of what your hot deal is, but you want to be thinking of what is someone potentially searching that would lead them to this promotion, and you want to put that in here. Now, your short description is important. I'll show you what that shows up to be. So the info you put in here shows up here. So, you know, it's just another way to, you know, maybe make your thing stand out. So they've spelled out a little bit more, you know, hey, they've got half price rentals on the remaining 2020 dates. But, you know, maybe you don't need that. So something like $50 off a comprehensive reading and math academic assessment, I think that pretty clearly says it all. So that works. So it's really kind of, you know, up to your judgment. If you want to talk a little bit more about it to get someone to click, that's what you can utilize this space for. So now the one quirk is the offer date and the active dates. So you may be wondering, why are there two spaces for dates? Oftentimes those are going to be the same thing. However, if you say if you're having something maybe that starts on Easter, but you want to start promoting it now, or maybe you wanted to start promoting it 2 weeks from your certain date, that's why you have this active date, the publish and start and end date. So, you know, if we want to get 2 weeks ahead of maybe promoting this, we'll have this date be today, and the offer start date will be 2 weeks from now. So when is the offer good? Now, the offer end date and the publish end date will be the same. I can't really think of a scenario of where those two would be different, but that's why you have those two different options. So if your timing is different, you can start promoting an offer before it's good. But if you don't want to do that, you can just set the dates as the same thing. And that's why you have that. So once you get all that set, you can either save as a draft and come back to it later, or you can hit submit for approval. And so then what happens there is we get a notice that someone's posted a hot deal. We'll look it over. You know, usually just maybe for any typos, things like that, we'll help with that. But also, you know, make sure you're offering something legal, not crazy. And then if it's good to go, that will go live on our website, and then will be shared out to our social media. So that is posting a hot deal. Now, member to member deals. You'll see, so it's posted who has them right now. We've got one right now. And like I said, so the big difference between these is where you can see them. So a hot deal has a place on the front end of our website, but because member-to-member deals are exclusive to members, the only way you will see them is if you're logged in. So it's another reason to get people to log in is, hey, don't miss these member-to-member deals, because that's the only way you can see it. So when we hit add a member-to-member deal, you're going to maybe feel a sense of deja vu, because it, like I said, it's very similar down to that. So again, you have your title, your tagline, you know, the details of your deal, what you think a person might be searching for. Maybe less important here in the member-to-member deal, because again, it can be only seen by someone logged in. But you, again, have those same offer description and then your dates. And I didn't talk about this image space here in the last one, but it was in the same form as the hot deal as it is here. And add image, this image space is really only designed to be for your logo. So it's kind of a small rectangular square-ish space. So if you want to post a big, beautiful picture of whatever you're promoting, this is not the place to do it. It's really just for your logo. And this is one of the little hangups I have with Chambermaster. Again, everything is pretty user-friendly. However, as you can see here in the body of this, I don't have the option to post a picture. I have the option to post an emoji, but not a picture, which is a little frustrating. So on our end, though, we can add a picture for you. So this is a time, maybe if you're posting a hot deal or you're posting a member-to-member deal that you really want to include a graphic element, this is where you can, you know, start it, save it as a draft, email me and let me know, hey, can you add a picture to the hot deal I have going? And I will absolutely help you with that. My email, by the way, marketing@sarpychamber.org. I'll go over contact info again at the end. But yeah, that's how you can do that. If you really want to add pictures to your hot deals, this is how you can do it, or your member-to-member deals. And again, so with hot deals and member-to-member deals, I know a lot of the examples I gave and kind of the scenarios I talked about were very maybe product orientated, and it's easy to assume that's primarily what this is for. However, if you don't have like X product to offer a certain percentage off on, don't let that stop you from using this feature. Absolutely get creative. If you're maybe more service-based, if you would sit down and meet with someone to talk about maybe the services that you can do, you know, free of charge, then hey, that's a free consultation. So feel free to think outside the box, get creative with how you use these hot deals and member-to-member deals. They're certainly not just for, you know, people with tangible products. And again, if you ever want help, like, hey, I want to use a hot deal, but I'm not sure what would work for me or my business, I would be happy to talk with you and maybe kind of think creatively about what could work. So those are hot deals, member-to-member deals. Okay, so our last major of like kind of a marketing resource, getting word out on who you are, is news releases. And right now, so you'll see everyone's news release here. We always have quite a few. We have a lot right now because there's a lot of news going on. But as you can see, so we have these different categories. This is a new one that we've recently added. It's called Spring 2020 Business Updates. And that was created to be a catch-all for businesses who want to post about maybe if they've changed hours, if they've had to change, you know, how they're operating, if they want to publicize like, hey, we still do these services, you just maybe, you know, it's curbside, or maybe it's remote over Zoom. So that kind of info that people need to still patronize you while you're, you know, having to comply with health mandates. So that's why we created that. If you have an announcement like that, when you add your news release, click that as a category, and so then that goes into that link, and we're sharing that out consistently. So that's why we have that. So let's do add news release. If you want to add something, you will do that here. Okay, so now we are on the form for this, and as you can see, it auto generates a title for you. I hate that it does this because it can make it feel like this isn't a box that you have to fill out. Please fill this out because it's a very clinical news title, news release 4/9/2020. You know, get rid of this and add a great title that really spells out what you're doing. Again, you have your display, published start dates and published end dates. This is where you can post, you know, what you want to put out there. And again, these, and particularly, you know, news releases for your business updates that maybe have to do with changes you're making, you know, to comply with health orders. They don't have to be, you know, especially long or beautifully written or anything like that. It just really needs to be a clear communication of how people can still patronize you or what they need to know. Meta description, again, this will be like your keywords. What do you think people are searching for that would get them to this information? You want to, you're playing match game, basically, essentially. So that's what you want to put in here. And so then in categories, this is when you can choose. Regularly, I think most chamber members posting will be doing press release, maybe community. However, I know a lot of people want to get this out, so we'll have you do spring 2020 business updates. If you have any news, again, that pertains to any changes you've had to make, any changes to your services, that kind of thing. Again, you have a space here for an image, but it's really just formatted for a small logo. If you want to add an image to your news release, this is something you can contact me and I will help you with. Because again, you don't have that option here, but I can do that for you on the back end. And then you can choose from your contact info. So between your reps, so if we're going to do a press release, let's choose me. I'm the marketing person. So then it pulls my info, and that's what will be posted at the end of the page. And so again, you can hit, once you've got that all set how you want, hit save as a draft if you want to come back to it later and work on it. If you want to submit for approval, if you're thinking it's good to go, or you're just at a point where, all right, it's set, but I just want to add a picture, you can hit submit for approval. We'll get a notice that it's out there and have a look at it, you know, kind of make sure it looks good before going live. And again, if you want to add a picture, you can email me after you've hit submit approval with what image you want to add, and I'll get that added for you. So that is posting a news release. Okay, so real quick, we'll finish out these menu items here. They're a little less so with the marketing, so we won't be doing kind of a deeper dive onto them. But job postings, I know we're kind of, again, in very strange times with this. I anticipate, you know, maybe as we're coming out of things and getting back to normal, this might be a feature a lot of people are wanting to utilize more as they're having to bulk up their staff again. So you can post your job postings here. And like I said, so you'll just hit add job post, pretty self-explanatory. The great thing here is, like these, we have a job posting section on our website. So that goes there, but it also gets fed out to our Facebook and Twitter. So you get a lot of visibility through that. And again, if you posted any of these, if you post a job posting, a hot deal or a member-to-member deal, remember, you can kind of see what engagement that's getting through your reports. So that's job postings. And then requests for proposals. Again, this is something a little similar to resources in that it's just a feature that a lot of people just don't really use. So I don't think you're ever going to see a whole lot of action here. What it is for is maybe say if a a chamber member, I want to work with, you know, an attorney, but I want to work with another chamber member. You know, I can put in my, hey, here's what I need, all Sarpy chamber attorney members, and get quotes back that way. I think that's probably pretty useful for, you know, much bigger chambers, where it's not as easy to facilitate connections, but we have our membership specialist staff who I think are really serving the purpose of this tab here. So that's why I don't think you'll ever see a whole lot of action here, but that's what that's for. Okay, so those are kind of our tours, tutorials. I'm going to pop back now into our PowerPoint. So I'm going to hit stop share real quick and then go back into that. Okay, back to the PowerPoint. So like I said, the biggest things that I want people to get out of this presentation are the marketing resources that you have right now through your membership. So that's posting your hot deals, your member-to-member deals, really boosting the visibility of your listing by making sure it's completely filled out, and you know, posting those news releases. And again, once you're a member, once you have your login account, you can do those things right away. Do want to go over real quick. We have some paid website resources. We have homepage banner ads. We have a new space this year. That's the large banner space, and I'll pop back out and show you what those are. That's $300 for 30 days. The small space is $75 for 30 days. So that's a great way to, you know, if you're looking to maybe dip your toes into online advertising, that's a great way to do it. Directory events banner ads, that's $5.99 for 1 year. And so that's a really high visibility spot. As you could see when we were going around looking at the website, you probably saw a lot of that Mathnasium ad. So they've got that space right now. And it's certainly not limited to one person, but they're advertising there now. And we saw them on the events. We saw them on the news. We saw them on, on the directory. You know, it's a very, very high visibility spot. So if you're looking to, you know, maybe boost name recognition, especially with maybe your fellow chamber members or to a local audience, that's a great place to do it. And then enhanced listings. So we talked about those a little bit. You saw they were the people who had the logo, they had a little bit of an about us section, and they were ahead of the alpha listing when we looked at the directory from the backside. So those are $2.99 for 1 year. And out in the directory, you get placed ahead of the alphabetical order. You get a logo and a description, so it really sets you apart. It also gives you extras in your listing itself. So your About Us is expanded. You can link to features and services. You can have extra pictures. You can have video. It's basically turning your listing into a homepage for your business within our website. So I'm going to pop out of here once more, and then we will go over back to the website. And I'll show you what those enhanced listings are. So let's say I'm a person, come through the website. Let's look through the directory here. Maybe let's do insurance. Perfect. Okay, so it pulls up that category. You see, you know, some people have been moved up ahead of the alphabetical listing. And not only that, they have like this little logo. They have this expanded kind of description here that others don't. So again, it's just something that makes it more likely that someone's going to click on you. So when we go over to look at that, now looking at the listing itself, now you saw what our listing looked like. Yeah, so here's just like a regular. It's still, you've got your about, you've got rep info, and you've got a map. So it's got all the info that you need. If you really want to expand that though, that's a great way to do it with an enhanced listing. So they could have even more of an About Us section if they wanted. They could go bigger. This highlights feature, they've used it to link over to their specific services. Media, you know, they have videos that they can share here. So that's how that's working. That's what the enhanced listing is. And then real quick on the front end, So this here is that large banner size up here. And then right here, we're advertising, well, not advertising, we're just getting people to click over to our resource page, but this is that smaller banner space. And then, like we saw them around quite a bit, but if we're going to events, here you see this is that spot for the directory and events ad space. So those are what all those spaces are. So yeah, those are, again, all the paid resources. But again, like I said, you have a lot that are just available to you right now through your membership that I would, love for you to try. Especially now when, maybe some of our marketing resources are limited just, due to general limits that we have. It's a great time to maybe focus on your online efforts. And so it's a great time to sit down and make sure your listing's filled out. Try a news release, post a hot deal, see what those do for you. One final internet resource I want to go over with you guys, and that really doesn't have a lot to do with marketing, but again, that's our page here. You can find that it's our COVID-19 resources page. So we have that up here, and we also have that here. And what this is doing is we just want this to be a kind of an easy catch-all collection for you to find information that's relevant maybe to being, running a business during this time. So if you need telecommunication resources, we have some helpful links there. Financial assistance information. So this is where we're gathering info for any grants available or any info that you need for maybe filing loans, things like that. Some resources for working from home, supporting businesses from home. And then, any information that you need, maybe for running your business, like what are some of these health orders? Who can you talk to about them? And we also have some kind of personal resources if you need those too. This is, again, our special news page for updates from Sarpy Chamber members on their available services. So this is that spring 2020 news category. So this is, the link that we're sharing out to, hey, check for Sarpy Chamber members, like what services have changed, how can you still give them your business? These are where those news articles go. So again, those are your online resources. I will pop back real quick into our PowerPoint. Oh, because the final, there we go. So that's kind of a big overview. Maybe felt like a big info dump. I hope not too much. But if anyone has any questions, I don't know if Brian, if that's something you can help facilitate, or if people want to unmute or have any questions right now, be happy to answer those. Are we good? Anyone have any? Do I need to do the stop share to do that?
Celeste, can you hear? This is Dan Rao.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey, so I was just looking, once we're in the site and logged in as a member, where do we actually find who our affinity partners are?
Who, I'm sorry, what was that?
So I'm trying to find out where we actually find the affinity partners versus like just going on the outside website. So once you're logged in as a member, is there a spot where you can find your affinity partners?
That's not a program. Oh, see, I stopped. Oh, okay, I stopped sharing the screen here. I want to make sure I know what you guys are looking at. Let me do that real quick. I'll pop into the back end. Share screen. I'm not sure if there's a specific category for that once you're logged in. We have a little, well, I will say we have much less control over what that dashboard looks like because that's built, by Chamber Master. But I can certainly talk to Anissa and see if that's something we can set up on that back end. But yeah, we really do rely on for the affinity partners. It's on that front end of the website where you can see that. So we'll share that here. So yeah, affinity programs. We've got that here for everyone watching. There's Heartland Family, their services. But yeah, I will ask about that on our dashboard. But like I said, it would be great. I would love to add like a tab for that. We really kind of don't have as much flexibility in changing that around, but I will see what's available to us.
I appreciate it.
All right, any other questions? Okay, maybe I'll pop back to the PowerPoint. Okay, well, so if there aren't any other questions that you have right now, or maybe you think of one later, again, I think one of the biggest resources I'm proud and happy to provide to you is that if you have questions about online stuff, there's a human you can come talk to, and pretty available. Right now, email is the best way to get in touch with me. It's kind of spotty whether or not we'll be in your phones, but certainly definitely by email. So if you email me with any questions you have, I'll be happy to, talk to you, even if it's just, hey, I want to post a news release, but I'm not sure what the format of that needs to look like. How can I put something like that together? That's what I'm here for. So please get in touch with me for, maybe content creation questions like that, or even just like, hey, I'm trying to post a hot deal and it's not working. What's going on? Be happy to help you. So again, how you can contact me via email is marketing@sarpychamber.org. And so email me and I will get back with you and help you out. But if there aren't any other questions, I don't know, Brian, did you see any others, or anyone else had any?
I did not. I know that any of the ones that came in during chat during the presentation, we were able to answer. So
Okay.
There was one idea that was presented during the presentation about being able to promote the membership directory that's visible online. If we can throw a resource into hot deals there, that might drive a link to that to get a little bit more visibility as well.
Oh, so it was a question someone had about promoting.
If we would be able to put our membership directory kind of like a link in it to point it to the online version of the membership directory as well, the print version that we have visible.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Certainly. Well, so posting that on the directory page, that would be.
Well, no, in a hot deal. So let's say somebody was in the hot deal, they could just click on that link and it would direct them right to the print version of the directory.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but certainly would look at that. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of questions. That would be great if we could do that. It's something we'll have to go to Chamber Master and see, like, hey, is this something we can do? So that's some of the trade-offs of, having a software like that. It makes it really easy to run these things. But, it is another then party we have to go through to see what's possible. So, yeah, absolutely. If you have any like questions or suggestions like Dan or what Brian talked about, absolutely send those my way and I will be happy to see what's possible. All right. Well, if there wasn't anything else, thank you everyone for coming by this presentation. This was my first thing I've led over Zoom. Hopefully it went pretty well for the first time. So yeah, thank you all for joining me.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks so much, Celeste. You did a great job.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. See ya.